Welcome back, Flare community. Happy Thursday, and I hope you're all well and having an incredible day as always. We've got Zoba in the house, we've got Tech, we've got Professor, TRT, Colin, Jimmy Thing, AA Best, and Quarterback 2. And yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the weekly news catch-up for everything that's been happening on the Songbird and the Flare network. What we're going to do is run through the news right quick and see what's been happening. And of course, if you do want a chinwag at the end of this, feel free to come over to the Flare Community Discord, where we're going to be talking for the next hour or so. So with that said, let's jump straight in. This is Solidify's website. Give it a quick refresh. And this is a list of all of the signal providers for the Flare Time Series Oracle and their performance. So topping the charts is EDP, FTSO. In second place, we have FTSO Plus. In third place, we have Flare.Space. In fourth place, we have Lena Instruments. And in fifth place, we have Atlas TSO. They're providing all of the best reward rates very early into the epoch, bear in mind. But yeah, they're doing very well indeed. So congratulations to them. Something that I did want to tell you about is this here. You know, Solidify, they do a great job and also displaying some of these votes that are taking place within the network. And this is to do with collusion. I'm going to quickly jump over to this tweet here from Flare Metrics before we jump into the NFT news. And this is for anyone that may be delegating to a number of these signal providers. So we've got Flare Labs, we've got Civil FTSO, some anonymous providers here, Best FTSO, AI Landflare, and some other ones here. And these are both for Flare and the Songbird network. So if you are delegating to any of these, please note that some of them may be chilled and some of them may actually, or some of them are going to be chilled and some of them may be removed completely. So be sure that you're delegating to those who are acting in good faith. And if you go to Solidify, this website here, I believe that they're all verified. And also the same applies with Flare Metrics. So just something to note, don't want you missing out on any of your rewards. And now we're going to move on to Sparkles and check out the top performing NFT collections. Of course, topping the charts is Blockbones. And in second place, we have Feather Swap. They just had a really big announcement. In third place, we've got Poodle and Friends. Fourth place, we've got the Loyalists collection, not by none other than Enosis. And in fifth place, we have the Fat Cats. That's for this week. Congratulations to all them projects making moves on in the NFT space. Yes, if you didn't already know, Airdrops number 12 has just recently occurred. This was a couple of days ago now, with the 10th of February. And if you didn't know, or if you haven't claimed already, you should probably do so, because if you don't claim within 90 days, your rewards do actually get burnt. And I don't want anyone to miss out on their rewards. This is the 12th of 36, so we're officially 1/3 into the Flare Drops. We've got exactly another 2 years to go. I believe they end in January 2026. Let's have a quick peek while we're here. There we go. 30th of January 2026. That's when you will have your last Flare Drop claim. And of course, all of the delegation rewards and staking rewards still continue long into the future. In fact, indefinitely. But these Flare Drops will come to an end. So if you're in by this time, this is where we are right now. We've got another 2 years ahead, which is obviously very nice. Moving on here, this is something that I thought was quite an interesting post actually, and it's talking about FIP01, with FIP standing for Flare Improvement Proposal, the very first one to hit the Flare network, and it was actually to do with the change in distribution. A lot of people agreed with it. In fact, 93 of people that voted agreed with it, but there were a loud and small minority that were kicking up a little bit of a fuss. And with running the maths here, in fact, we can just scroll right down to this website by flare.builders. They give you all of the yields for each month with the flare drops. And I totted up all of the amounts, and the total that we've seen so far. Where are we? Let me scroll back up. Here we go. 43.2%. And this is just purely if you held all of your initial FLR without participating in delegation or staking. And with the previous method, you would get just 0.1% more. Now, you have to consider that anyone that's been within the Flare community for a while, you will have been delegating and staking too. So all of these figures are actually compounded, and it would be much higher as a result. So FIP01 was a very big success, not just in terms of how much FLR you've been able to accrue if you've been holding, but also for the fact that we have no longer got the reliance on exchanges, which may or may not be solvent, 3 years down the line. So it is what it is. I'm pretty happy with FIP01, and anyone that's been participating will surely be the same too. Hey, we've got Paul Rook. Welcome to the Flare community membership. Very much thanks for the support right there. It's not often I get new members, so welcome to the family, and yeah, it's very much appreciated. Moving on here, we've got this from Hugo saying that FXRP will enable XRP to come to Flare and also other ecosystems through Layer Cake. This lets DApp developers build dApps that can interact with the multiple cross-chain assets that will exist and already exist on Flare. So this is something that's really important. With XRP, there's a lot of competition to get that bridging ecosystem going live. But with FXRP, it's not just connecting XRP to the Flare network, but it's connecting all of the assets that are going to be able to be bridged trustlessly. So something to take note of there. I think that's really important. We see Flare network with a really strong focus, not just on data, but also interconnectivity, being able to connect all of these blockchains together. And I think interoperability is going to be a key word moving forward into 2024. If you didn't know this, if you are a developer or you want to participate in Coston, the Faucet, which was previously hosted by Bifrost, is now live over on faucet.flare.network. It's been migrated to the Flare Foundation, and this is a way that you can basically get some free tokens if you want to do some testing. So we know that there are some interesting apps coming in the near future. We've got Kinetic, we've got Anosis with the Uniswap V3 DEX, which is concentrated liquidity. Very confusing or new to a lot of people, and including myself. I've not participated in concentrated liquidity, but the first place that I'm going to try it is going to be on Coston, because everything on Coston is risk-free. You can get free assets here, free CFLR, just by entering your address, and I'll highly encourage anyone that wants to learn risk-free to do this. And, of course, I'll be going over some videos and stuff to sort of explain what's going on. And if you aren't already a member of the Flare community Discord, feel free to jump there. We're going to all help each other and join this learning journey together. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, stay tuned for that. This is coming from a percent. This is a really nice video, actually. A really good condensed video summarizing what they're doing, and it's one of my favorite projects because it's something actually quite novel. And I touched on this last week, but basically it's the idea of having an educational course that's represented as an NFT on the Flare network, and that gives you the option to learn from it, but more importantly, sell it after you've used it, right? A lot of the online courses today you buy and you sort of learn the knowledge and then it's just gone, right? You can't do anything with it. But here you can resell it as an NFT. The NFT is actually the access pass to unlocking all of the content. Here's some interesting things, a little sneak peek at the roadmap for the first course launch, and this is what it looks like. And if I do remember correctly, it is going to be happening this quarter, and obviously the quarter ends at the end of March, so expect the pace to pick up with a percent in the next month or so. We'll of course keep you updated as and when new information comes to light. We've got this from Spark. This is quite a nice announcement here. They've unlocked tipping over on sgb.chat. It's basically like a social media platform where people can create content, and now you can tip people based on that. And it's not just in Spark as well. If we go down here, it's in a lot of different assets that are hosted on the Songbird network. Not quite yet on the Fleur network. Maybe that's coming in the near future, who knows? But yeah, a very nice little partnership there and a big announcement for sure. This is from Generation Infinity or Genfinity. They hosted this very good panel actually. This was today. I'd highly recommend anyone who is interested in learning about Kinetic to learn more about it. Now, I want to just briefly talk about Genfinity in itself. This is hosted by King Solomon, and he's very good at directing the conversation and extracting information and getting the panelists to really break down what it is that they're building. And one of the things that I really like about Genfinity is that they're almost chain agnostic. They have people from all types of different networks, you know, HBAR and all types of ecosystems, right? And that's really good for keeping your finger on the pulse and exposing yourself to other networks that are also doing novel things. But this one particularly was about Kinetic launching on the Flare network, and they're basically bringing DeFi services, borrowing and lending to the Flare network. So they're actually picking up the pace with their marketing campaign and their white paper. I believe it's coming out very soon. And of course, as always, I'll keep you up to date as and when I hear information on that. Speaking of DeFi, we've got the airdrop for Helion. So if you are either a Helion or XFi holder, you should be able to claim this in, well, tomorrow at some point. And I believe it's, you know, the latter half of tomorrow. So if you are holding them, you can go to this website here. It's airdrop.enosis.global, and you can claim your Helion. And something else that's important to mention that, you know, if you're not claiming them, they will get burnt within 1 month. So we look over here, total Helion burnt. It's quite a significant portion, right? Every airdrop there is, let me see right here, 2 million, I believe. Yeah, I think. Yeah, 2 million Helion distributed every month. And if you want your share of that, you're going to have to claim it, right? So stay tuned for that. It's coming tomorrow. Enosis, this was actually some really big news. The first listing of an ERC20 asset that is outside the scope of their platform, and it was the Blockbones project, which I'm obviously the founder of. And yes, very exciting. There's a new pool. It's FLR to Bones, and the reward is actually with the Bones coin. So this was a great partnership. It's great for liquidity. I believe there's maybe 60,000, maybe even more liquidity. And yeah, I'm very much appreciative of Enosis for allowing me to participate in their very first Launchpad event. So happy days. Speaking of Bones, yes, the trait store is opening soon. If you don't know what the Blockbones collection is all about, it's dynamic NFTs, meaning that the NFTs change over time. You basically have an NFT and you get to choose the traits that you want to fuse to it, right? So we scroll down here a little bit. Let's see if we can get an example. Here we go. So you've got a bare bones, that's basically the base layer, but then you can add various traits, the crown, the eyes, and all sorts of different things. Quite a diverse collection. And The artist behind this is Doge Hater. Some of you may know him already, and he does 2D and 3D work. He's an absolute genius, and yeah, it's the best-selling collection on the Flare network. In fact, yes, we do have some records here. It's the highest ever sale on the Flare network for an NFT, and it was almost 500,000 FLR. Yes, this was for the rarest base layer, which is a holographic, and this was actually minted for 500 FLR or less if you was a Patreon member. So quite good returns. You know, it's a 900x in less than 3 months, and I don't think you can really get them kinds of return. Obviously, it's very lucky that someone got this, because this particular NFT, there's only 10 out of the 10,000 collection. Moving on here, we have some news from Superbad series, sort of previewing some of their gameplay. I'm just going to sort of briefly go over this. Yes, all developed in Unreal Engine. Pretty good, you know, I actually really like this. High fidelity graphics here. Looks very, you know, environment variables that are dynamic. You know, you can break through things. A little bit scary for some people, but I think I can handle it. But yeah, I did ask actually on their Discord if this was for Mac as well as PC, but I believe it's just currently for PC. So yeah, stay tuned for this. It's looks like it's going to be quite a lot of fun. You know, I think it's been a long time coming, and I'm excited to have a little peek at it once it goes live. Moving on here, I guess a bit of a downer to end, but we've got some news here from Hugo regarding Celsius. So if you was holding FLR on Celsius, you may want to pay attention right now. Hugo says, we don't know who to talk to at this point. We tried talking to Nuco, but didn't progress. And the second point that he made was that the Flare tokens that were received by Celsius don't appear to have been distributed. And the third point, the grant was dependent on all FLR tokens being distributed directly to the specific people to whom they were intended. Not covered and not distributed to the wider base. So it is what it is. That's, you know, don't shoot the middleman. This is all that I know about it. And this was directly from Hugo. Thought we'd maybe end on this because I think it's pretty interesting. Blockchain Backer did this post, and obviously it's got quite a lot of votes here, knocking on the door of, well, just over 11,000. And it was about how many people know how to use the XRP-L decentralized exchange. And a whopping 70% of people don't know how to use it. And what I really wanted to highlight here is that, you know, I think it's important that if you are an advocate of this technology, then you should really be utilizing the technology, because that in itself brings validity via the statistics such as transactions and the user base, right? You know, it's all good saying you want a decentralized exchange, but if you're not participating in it, then and you're using a centralized exchange, then what's the point, right? It's all good in theory, but it really needs to be more than that. If you are a user of and in fact, actually, here's another example. So with NFTs, right? The benefit of trading on an NFT on a marketplace is that you interact with a smart contract, and you're not doing this peer-to-peer thing where you accept the funds first and then you send the NFT, or vice versa. When you go through a peer-to-peer transaction, you're putting the trust in the other person, whereas a smart contract removes that trust, that need for trust, and basically executes it at the same time. The money and the NFT are exchanged within that one transaction. And in order to highlight the use case of this technology, you need to be using it and contributing towards the metrics which, you know, people can actually validate, right? So that's pretty much the news for this week. Of course, if you are interested on having a bit of a chinwag, come over to the Flare Community Discord. If you scroll right to the bottom here, you can see the community stage. That's where I'll be chilling with a lot of people, as always, to have a good old chinwag and talk about everything that you want. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully I'll see you there. If I don't, have a good weekend. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, I'm out.